Do you know your secondary energy type? I'm Carol Tuttle, the creator of energy profiling, and in this system that's profoundly life changing, it's already helped over 300,000 people worldwide, maybe 500,000 even. There's so many I've lost count. But in this really valuable life changing system, you get to learn about your deepest nature, who you are as a human being, who you were born to be, and you have a dominant energy type. And as a support system, you have a secondary energy type. There's 4 types, and you can learn more about those in my book, It's Just My Nature. And you can watch more videos here on YouTube and on my website. So in the 4 types, you have all 4 natures or energies expressing through you. Why is it important to know your secondary? Well, I have 3 reasons. I've learned it's very, very important. And this is a 2-part series. Next week, I'm going to teach you, well, how do you learn and feel confident in your secondary energy type? But today, we're talking about the 3 reasons it will benefit you. And you really don't want to assess your dominant and secondary energy type at the same time. Big mistake. It'll totally confuse you. If you're not sure of your dominant energy type, come watch this through. You'll get ahas. But you want to make sure you're confident about your dominant energy type. And I have more help for you at dressingyourtruth.com/free offer. It is my free course that literally thousands of people go through every month. It's phenomenal. Well, my first top reason is you don't want to be living in your secondary. It's a default, a safe place that many of us revert to because we don't feel confident in our own energy type. Did I experience this? Oh, major. In my childhood, it really wasn't safe and understood to be a type 3 female. So as I look back on my childhood, I can actually see more evidence of me living in a type 4 energy. Still, don't rock the boat. Walking on eggshells, I asked my mom years and years ago when I was really authoring this information, and I was just curious what she would tell me. I said, Mom, what was I like as a child? Oh, you were so responsible. You did whatever you were told. You were just, and I said, well, type 3 children aren't really known for that quality. I said, well, I was wounded. I wasn't living true to myself. And so type 3 kids push. We have a push energy. Type 4 energy is about complying when you agree with what you're being asked to be compliant with. But I lived in my secondary, and it became a resource for me to know that was my secondary, so I didn't fall into it. And I started to notice there were only certain settings I had that kind of reflex of going into my secondary. Anytime I felt I couldn't be myself around certain people, primarily some of my extended family members, I'd go right back into it. It's like a switch that would get flipped. And I wasn't myself. And I wasn't honoring my true self. I was hiding myself. You don't want to do that. It's never supportive to your life success and happiness to be in your secondary energy. But it's very common that is a default, and we get triggered and we move into that secondary energy. It helps to know what it is so you catch yourself and go, you know what, I'm going to heal this experience. I'm going to no longer have that sort of reflex to default there. I'm going to stay true to myself 100% of the time. And I've been able to successfully achieve that status. So I want that for you as well. Number 2, you want to know it so you can see where to draw upon its particular gifts that it brings to your world. It's not a big player in who you are. It has a minor role, but there's certain traits it's meant to support your dominant in. You're meant to learn about its qualities, characteristics, and you'll see that naturally you access those that it's not like you have all of them available to you. In next week's video, I'm going to talk about how do you determine it and some of the unique traits that each of these energies express as a secondary, because you won't get the full gamut of your secondary. You'll get a few character traits that are an asset to you. And knowing that, you're going to be able to be consciously employing them to your benefit and the benefit of others. It's especially useful in your day-to-day life and how you manage your day-to-day life, so that they're attributes that complement your dominant energy. They're never meant to take over or take the lead. It's a support system, but there's a few attributes in your secondary energy that are really meant to be playing out in your life. What are those for you? We'll talk about that next week. And the third one, I find this to be the most valuable for me, and I teach this over and over, and we'll get to that next week, is it really helps you personalize your style in the world of dressing your truth. Otherwise, each of the 4 types, we'd all be cookie cutter images of each other, and our styles would all look the same, and they don't. I have a type 3, secondary 2 daughter-in-law. Many of you know her. She's my type 3 expert, Sarah Tuttle. She was a big reason I was able to develop the style content in the Dressing Your Truth world, and really help through the years understand the variable when the secondary is brought into what you put on your body. Because Sarah and I will wear similar fabrications, but when it comes to our patterns, our design lines, we're pretty similar in textures, because in the world of Dressing Your Truth, I teach you color. So we always wear the same colors as type 3. Texture, design line, pattern, and fabrication. We rarely wear the same fabrications as far as we wear a certain weight we like, but design lines and patterns are 2 different worlds for us. So we have very distinct looks because of our secondary. And so over the years, I've been able to develop a prolific amount of content in our lifestyle membership content that teaches you how to I can't tell you how to determine your secondary, that's next week, but how to add your secondary to your style that really brings alive your personalization of Dressing Your Truth. Takes it out of sort of the basics to this is mine, I get to be me, I get to have fun and enjoy the experience and very easily shop. It's like you just know what's right for you as you really develop your beauty sixth sense with this stuff. So the 3 reasons that it's an asset to know your secondary: don't let it take over. Share in a comment, is that happening to you? Do you notice your secondary takes over? Maybe when you're not feeling yourself, that's a sign. We'll talk about that more next week. Access the attributes of it, the few that you're meant to be a beneficiary of, and put them to use in your life. And 3, big third reason is really helps you develop your personal style. Learn more about my program, both the 4 types and energy profiling, at dressingyourtruth.com/free offer. Yes, it is a free course. It's beautiful. It's phenomenal. It's life-changing. As I said, hundreds of thousands of people have gone through that course. And we'll talk more about this next week. Thanks for subscribing to my channel. What do you like about my videos? How have I helped you? I'd love to hear that in a comment. I do read them. I appreciate your feedback. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk more about your secondary next week.